Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. This is my channel. We love comics. Always good to see you, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later on. To me, it does not matter when you watch it. It's that you watch it. So thank you so much for that. And hopefully you get some people in the live chat to participate. I always like for people, when I get special deals on comics, to see what people were willing to pay for books, and then I will show what I pay for the books, and we'll see if we're on par, whether I'm higher than what you think you would pay, or lower, or around the same. We're going to find out. So these two comics I got, they're in the same box. So I'm going to do an unboxing, and there hopefully should be two comics in here, both Key comics, one a Copper Age Key and one basically a Modern Age Key. So if you've been watching my videos, you'll pretty much know if it's a Modern Age Key, it's most likely one of two books, but you could make that decision. Now, both of these were from the same seller, obviously, because that'd be weird if two different sellers decided to meet together and send their books in the same package. But neither one of these had a best offer. And I contacted the person, made some offers, which they originally first said they were not interested in. And then, I don't know, maybe I have magnetism when it comes to buying comics, but they agreed not only on one of their comics, but then a second comic. Because like I always say to people, I'm always respectful, I'm always kind, and this is why I encourage my viewers to take chances on stuff. Learn how to communicate. Don't be afraid to communicate, because you never know how many times you could make deals happen that did not exist without your jumping in. Like, for example, one of my subscribers saw one of my comics on the shelf here. It was a Green Lantern number 11 Golden Age book. It was not in the auction for sale. They contacted me, made a decent offer. I was trying to sell for a little bit more, but you know what? Sometimes, you want to make people happy, and I still made some profit on it, and they didn't have to spend as much. But that person made that deal happen. So I want to try and continuously encourage people to stop listening to the naysayers out there who may agree with what they say, who may believe in what they say, who may never find deals, so what they say is true to them, but affects you in a negative way, thinking, oh, well, I can't do it, because if this person can't do it, and that person can't do it, and all those people can't do it, then I guess I can't do it. That is the wrong mindset. If you keep watching my channel, you'll see deal after deal. Many of them I've made where like I said, with these two, there were not even best offers an option, and I made it happen. And like I said, originally, the person said no, they were not interested. But what I said was, I could respect that, and I wish you great success with your sale. But if you do change your mind, I will pay right away. I will make sure that you don't have to worry about somebody that, doesn't honor their bid, or having to relist over and over again, and you get your money quick. And many people change their minds. So I see a lot of people in here. So if you're in the live chat, or even if you're watching this later, I want you to participate. I'm going to do the unboxing, make sure the two books are in there as they state. I'm going to ask you guys in the live chat, or if you're watching it later, you can hit pause and then tell me what you would have paid for these books, and then we'll go from there and we'll compare. I want to show people that you can make deals happen, and not just on generic books, not just runs of certain books that don't really have anything other than reading value. I'm talking about investment books where you can make a purchase below the value of the current market, and you can do it many times if you don't give up. But let's first give a shout out to my Patreon members. If you are one of my Patreon members, you will automatically get a shout out every single video I do. And once we get to 20 paid Patreon members, I have a contest that I start every month. The more people that join, the better the contest will be. So Carl, Sith, Scott, Michael B, Kevin W, James R, Herbert R, Darth Bleak, who is known as, if you have Facebook, go look for Stephen L. Turk, author. Tell him We Love Comics sent you. So he wanted me to mention that. Dan L., Kim N., Annabelle N., who is our latest Patreon member, and last but not least, Silver Age Surfer _comics on Instagram. So if you have Instagram, check out Silver Age Surfer _comics and tell them We Love Comics sent you. So as you can see with Darth Bleak and Silver Age Surfer, they both requested that instead of just using their name, that I share a link. I have no problem with doing that. So if you're one of my Patreon members and you're up to date and you want me to do that instead of your name, message me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. If you want to join, it's patreon.com/we love comics. And if I can get up to 20 people, as you can see on the screen, I'm not going to go into the full details, but starting at 20 paid members, I'm giving away each month an unopened baseball pack. I've shown them in other videos, so check those out. The auction video I did, I showed the packs. So if you want to see, because they're good stuff, it's not something that was last year or anything. Some of these go back more than 10 years. Then you'll see 30, and then so on. Now, there is no minimum other than what Patreon requires for anybody to join any Patreon, which is $2. But you get one entry for every $2 you apply to your monthly Patreon account with We Love Comics. So if you want to enter, all you have to do is be a paid member of a minimum of $2, which is the minimum on Patreon. And the more you do, the more entries you can get, and it's every single month. And Darth Bleak is here, so welcome, and you're very welcome. And you were talking about mailing me a signed copy of your book. I would be honored to do that. And if you do it, put all the information you want, because if anybody wants to purchase your books, I want you to provide a link and everything, and I want to, show it to the public and do an unboxing. So if you're going to do something kind, I absolutely want to return the favor. Now, like I've said before, with anybody, even if somebody says they want to do something and it doesn't happen for whatever reasons, to me, it's the thought that counts. So the fact that you even thought of me to want to do that means a lot to me. So welcome and glad to see you here. Before I turn on the video camera and start doing the unboxing, as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, I'm looking to acquire my first grail in this section of comics I have listed here right in front of you. I would love to acquire any of them. Basically, I put it kind of priority of what I'd love the most. But if somebody offered me a Tales of Suspense 39 in a trade, and it's a fair trade, I'm not going to be disappointed. I would love to acquire any of these. I've never owned any of them and would love to do it via trade. It's a way for two people to be able to acquire a comic or comics that they love that they may not have the money to pay for right now. So trades allow people to do stuff without cash. There is no tax in a trade, and you don't have to worry about the government putting their hands out saying, hey, I want a part of your transaction, because trades are non-taxable. So if you're somebody that's dealt with me before, or you know anybody that has a comic book in this list, have them contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Let's make it happen. I'm not going to give up until it happens. And even when it happens once, I'm going to keep going. So I want to show people, if you don't give up, good things can happen. So let's put on the video camera, but let's say hi to everybody in the live chat right now. Be prepared. What I would recommend, open up your eBay channel, your eBay page, so you can look up the prices of the books. And I'll give my estimate, because these are raw comics. I'll give my estimates of what I think the grades would be basically after a pressing. So, you let me know what you would have paid for the maximum amount you would be willing to pay. Not saying, I'll buy Amazing Fantasy 15 for $5, because who wouldn't? I'm saying realistically, what would be the highest that you would be happy with this purchase of these books? Put that in the live chat, or put that in the regular chat by pausing the video if you're watching this later on. So we're going to say hi to Agu Rhythm. Always good to see you. Luis Ramirez. Gotham City Comics says hello to myself and the chat. GT Key Comic. Uh-oh, you're fourth today. What's going on? You're slacking. But always welcome to see you, one of my moderators. We got James Logan. We got, did I say Lewis? Yes, I did say Lewis. I want to make sure, because we have another. We have Dan Lewis. We have Sith Lord. Good to see you. He says, hello there. Glad I made it on time. Oh, and I also hit the like button. Thank you for that. It does not show me how many people hit the like button. So if anybody wants to do it, you're more than welcome to. If you want to hit the thumbs down, you're more than welcome to. Like I said before, Darth Bleak is here. I don't think I've seen this one before. Barbecue with Neil. Welcome. If this is your first time, let me know, but I'm glad you're here. And we got Gary Hahn says, always ask sellers if they have any books for sale. I ended up buying a Captain America 9 signed by Jack Kirby. Nice. Asked him if he had any books for sale. Bought a Captain America 1 and 3. No shit. Nice. There you go. Make deals happen. Brian Norman watching from work, of course. And I'll tell you, Brian, you should run for president because you'd be doing as much work as the president's doing right now. The president, but let's not get too political. And then Gary Hahn says the Cap 3 was signed by Stan Lee. Also, Cap 4 and 5. Yeah, there you go. That's how you make deals happen. So nice job on that. Now, if anybody's interested in any of my mystery boxes, I have a link right there. I just put it in the live chat, but it's also in the regular chat. All right, so let's show. Now they did put it in a box. It's not a, gigantic box or anything like that. Well, they put it in a kind of a Gemini, but it looks like they put a lot of extra tape behind it. It looks like they were, at least protecting it. I always tell people, never assume a seller anywhere either knows how to mail a comic properly or cares enough to do it. Because I've had many of people when I've requested it, and they'll say things like, well, I always mail it in the Geminis, and it's never had a problem. Obviously, those people have never played Russian roulette. It only takes one bullet to destroy you, and the game is over. So, yeah, you could have mailed 5,000 comics and never have one arrive damaged. It only takes one time to, make that a problem for you. So, I highly recommend communicating with your sellers and making sure not only deals happen, but also to, let me just click on this. There we go. He says I'm slipping. To also make sure that they'll mail out your comics to the best of their ability. Wonder which one I should start out with. All right, we're going to start out with this one because it looks like it's a little bit lower grade. Now, let me see this. They did put them, as you can see, in top loaders. So they did add the extra protection. It does have, I think it's a color break increase across here. So this is probably, it's got another one down on the bottom. So it's probably going to be about a 7.5. Now, obviously, I'll have to look at the whole book, but this is probably from my vision of it, from what I can see just for that damage, between a 7.5 and an 8.0. Let's just say between 7 and 8. So if you want to look it up, you can, but how much would you have paid if you had the chance to get the best offer for this book? So this is, of course, Batman Adventures 12, which is the first appearance of Harley Quinn. But before you make your estimate of what the maximum you would have paid to feel comfortable with it, this is a newsstand variant. Now, it is not a Mark Julas variant, at least as far as I know. I don't think they made Mark Julas variants at this point. But this is a newsstand variant, so that will make it a little rarer. Now, like I said, there is, you can see it right there. There is a line that goes across that does break color, and there's a little one. Try and angle it. See right there? Right there is another color breaking crease. So what would you have paid for this book? The maximum amount you would have paid for a newsstand variant of Batman Adventures 12, first appearance of Harley Quinn, in between about a 7 and an 8 grade. So let's give a chance, because these books, believe it or not, especially when people talk about, lots of people, I've seen it on so many different channels. I will never call out one specific channel because there's many that do it, that'll talk about, well, books like this, they're not rare. Well, the newsstand variants are. Well, not super rare, but they're rarer than the regular print. So if you're watching this later on, you could pause it. But Sith Lord said he'd pay 150, maybe 200. Algorithm said 180. Now, this person, now I don't have the exact amount because this, like I said, was not originally a buy it now best offer. This was just a buy it now. So I'm basing it on what I believe it to be. But what they did was when they agreed with the price, they just changed the price of the buy it now so I could buy it. So people are saying about 180. So they had this originally listed at $450. Buy it now. Again, no best offer. So we went back and forth a little bit. Like I said, at first they said no, but then I tried, all right, would you take this price, this price? The person wasn't as flexible as normal, but I paid $200 for it. So Sith Lord said he'd pay up to 200. Agu said 180. So I paid basically about what people said. But like I say, when you're talking newsstand variants and you're talking first appearance of, in my opinion, one of the last modern age books. I mean, you could also think of Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen were pretty much the last major modern, quote unquote, comic book heroes that are going to be for a while. So algorithm says 450 for a higher grade. Yeah. So like I said, it does have a color break increase. So I don't know how much it's going to bring it down. It could go as high as an 8, possibly. But I want to say between a 7 and 8. So I think, in my opinion, I paid around a fair price for this book because I thought, if this was a higher grade, 450 would be worth it, but not for the grade this is in. So I had to explain that to the person and explain politely. You never disrespect somebody because, even if you're right, that's not exactly going to increase your chances of making a sale with somebody. So you really want to be able to have conversations with people, be kind, be respectful, but educate them in a way that's helpful. So I think with shipping it in the hand, well, they gave me free shipping on both. So I didn't have to pay extra for that. So with the taxes, it came out to $214. I think, in my opinion, for a newsstand variant for first appearance of Harley Quinn, I think that is a fair price. And again, I made that happen. So it looks like we were pretty even on that. Now, this one, it's hard to say because this one, if it didn't have the one problem it has, it would probably be 9.4 to a 9.6 from what I've seen. You know what? Let me look at the back really quick. But there is a piece. Geez, this has probably been in the bag for so long. The part that's supposed to be resealable just ripped right off. There's a piece missing, which they actually have included in the back of the book. I don't know why. So the back of this book looks perfect. There is a non-color breaking crease in the top left-hand corner of the back, but especially when a book has all black and just to show the edge, you'll probably know what book this is. There is not one color break increase. Sith Lord says he has to get back to work. Good to see you. I love the fact that many people watch me while they're working. Most people whistle while they work. You guys watch me when you work. So if you look at this book, especially for all black pretty much on the back of this book, and Happy Sanjo just did a super chat. Thank you. I was just going to say, I don't think I've recognized. He says, found your channel recently. Love the content. Thank you. And I love your generosity. That was very kind of you. Thank you so much for that. So this is the problem with the book. Well, let's first show the book. And Happy, again, thank you. So we got Amazing Spider-Man number 300 is the regular version. The only problem is, and they actually left the piece there. It's got a little piece of it that I guess maybe somebody was, I don't know, but it looks like somebody wasn't trying to trim it, obviously, because you would have to have glasses the size of binoculars to be able to not see that you're not being even. So I think maybe they were trying to cut open a package. Maybe they bought this in the mail and they sliced open the mailer and it got the top of this. It did not. Okay. It did get page 1. Looks like this might have been graded at some point. It nicked page 2. Yeah, so obviously somebody cut this open. With this paper in it, that means it was graded at some point. So they probably, as they were trying to get it out, probably sliced it open. The next page has a little bit of a slice, and then that's pretty much it from there. Yeah, and there's another one of these in it. So obviously, it most likely got cut when the person was taking out to be graded. And that's why I tell people, I see so many people trying to be, basically, you'd say greedy, by trying to continuously open up slabs to get them regraded, maybe with CGC all of a sudden deciding that 9s and 10s and now should be common things. Many people are, cracking open their own slabs. If you do something like that, let's say he had a 9.8, this book, because like I said, if you saw the back looked pristine. Let's say he had a 9.8, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to take this out. I'm going to try and get a 9.9 or a 10 with the new CGC program. Well, this person obviously cut the top and cut a few pages. So now, even if it was a 9.8, this book is probably about an 8.5 to a 9. You got to be careful. And this shows me that this book was graded at some point. So obviously, I don't know if it was him, but at some point, somebody cracked it open and probably sliced very carelessly to get it out of the inner welling and ended up damaging the comic. You really got to be careful when you're doing stuff. A lot of times for greed, trying to get all that extra cash you can get, because that basically backfired on this person. So this person, I'm going to say, had it originally listed at $525 for this book, which for that price is too much. Now, if that was a newsstand, it might be a little different. But again, this person did not have a best offer. So I want to hear right now your opinion. Again, this is probably an 8 to an 8.5 with this damage, because everything else in this book is pretty much perfect. There is a little bit of a dent, a little bit of a rounding, actually, just at the very tip. But that you could still get a 9.8 if that was the only problem. But again, I'll go along the spine. You can see not one tick. So whoever took this out of whatever grading company they had it graded with to try and get a bump screwed themselves big time. So in the live chat, let's hear what you would have paid for this book if you had the opportunity to make the deal. Because remember, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this was not a buy it now best offer. This was just a buy it now, and they had it listed at $525. So if you want to place what you would have paid for this book, the maximum amount you would have felt comfortable with. Because see, remember, I always tell people I don't base stuff on where things been. I don't base things on where they are. I base them on where they're going. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know there's another Venom movie coming out. We also know that unless things change, Venom is going to be part of the MCU in a bigger way. And with Secret Wars, again, unless they change it, they're planning on having Venom in Secret Wars as Peter Parker's suit. These are going to create a demand for this book, which is going to increase the price of this book. So when I see a book that may even be around what it's worth now, and knowing it's going in the future to be more valuable, because let's face it, this is not a rare book, but there are many people that feel like if you're a comic collector, you have to have one of these in your collection. There's certain books that they say, if you want to be a collector, this is almost like a must-have. What you pay for it depends. So this person at $525, buy it now. I contacted him and made a deal. So Mr. E says the low grade king. I like that. Mr. E, the low grade king. I like that name. Says he would have paid $300 for this book. So let's see if anybody else wants to comment. Again, if you're watching it later on, you could hit pause and put it in. That's what she said. Gary Hahn says, with that corner cut off, I wouldn't pay no more than $125. I'll tell you right now, no one would sell this book for $125. Because if you look at the grades of books that are sold on eBay, you're not getting a 2.0 of this book for $125. So I understand that you would want to pay less, but you also, again, you have to be realistic. You're not getting this book, except for that one spot, that one problem. Everything else in the book is perfect. Again, this is not going to be a 3.0 book. This is going to be between probably like an 8, around that area. So, Gary, as much as I say that's as much as you would be willing to pay, I'm just going to be honest with you. That's not a realistic price. No one's going to ever accept that. I mean, good luck getting a wrinkled version of this book that has water stains on it for around that price. So that might be your personal amount that you'd pay, but unless somebody's just giving a book away and doesn't know what they're selling, they're not going to sell it to you for that price. Brian Harmon says $295, and Agu says, yeah, haven't kept up with that book. Well, that's understandable. So they had it listed at $525. I got them down to more than half off. I got it for $250 for this book, which I believe in. Again, it's my opinion. You could disagree if you want, but Amazing Spider-Man 300, you have the iconic cover that's been copied like 6 million times on 6 million different books. It's the first full appearance of Venom. The first time he had, I no, because 252 and the Marvel team up would have it. Because I was going to say first Venom on the cover, but that's also 316. But I mean, you're talking an iconic cover where the book is going to continue to go up. Every now and then, you're going to get peaks and valleys, ladies and gentlemen. The problem with books or any collection investment going down is people assume it's going to go down forever. Just like the other people that make the mistake when things go up, like a housing market, they just think it's automatically just going to continue to go up forever. You're going to have peaks and valleys. And in my opinion, because of the last 2 or 3 years of Marvel and DC and Hollywood doing all this DEI nonsense, people got tired of it after they saw what was clearly obvious agendas at certain points. That took away a lot of people's interest in the books, and that's why, especially with a bad economy, prices started going down. But I think with the Deadpool Wolverine movie, if that makes $1 billion, and I'm sure it will, if they didn't sneak in so much DEI that they hid on us and doesn't ruin the movie, if they stay true to what the trailers and everybody thinks it's going to be, that to me, and in my opinion, is the turning point, and you're going to see books start to rise. So books like this, if you wait too long, like I'm just going to tell you straight out, Gary, I respect you and everything, and I appreciate everybody's got a limit that'll spend, but I'm going to tell you, if you're waiting for a $125, it's still a high grade book for that price, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Now that doesn't mean you can't find a deal, but let's keep it real. It's a needle in a haystack. Do you want to take that chance? Now, if you have 5 copies of this book or you have a copy already and you don't care about adding another one, that's a different story. But if it's a book you've wanted and it's a book you don't have, and yes, prices of books have gone down. If you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, eventually people have to realize things level out. These kind of books are never going to go in the dollar bin. So be very careful with how long you wait. And that's why I get amazed that, like, again, I watch many comic book channels, so I'm not calling anyone out. I've seen many channels talking about, well, a price of a book is at this price. Somebody paid a little higher, so they overpaid. Well, how do you think values of things go up? Eventually, people say, I'm comfortable paying a little bit more because I want this book. And then other people join and say, well, okay, the price is starting to go up. I better start buying. That creates more of a demand, more of a fear of missing out. And then all of a sudden the prices go up. If everybody paid the same price, charts would look like this for all of your life. That's not how life works. The people dictate value. Sellers can say, I refuse to sell something. But it also depends on the situation. I mean, they may have a bill coming up, or they may want to buy a present for themselves, or maybe they had an unexpected hospital bill, God forbid, or maybe they just want extra cash in their pocket. Sometimes you don't know why people sell stuff. Like, for example, with my auctions, there's a certain price I'm willing to pay for a book, even if I can never say I'm desperate for money, because I get to the point where I need to sell stuff to pay bills before. See, I'll take care of stuff about a month before I am in the need of having to do something. I always do it at least a month before. So I will never set myself up, oh my God, if I don't make a sale right now, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose everything. No, I always give myself time. But if I have a book, for example, that I'm selling for 1,000, and I know I can easily sell it for 1,000, because let's say everybody else is selling it for 1,200, and I'm selling it for 1,000, which is 200 less. If somebody comes along and offers me 500 for it, I'm never going to accept it because I don't need to sell. But I will work with people. Like I said, that's why I won't start a bidding, for example, at 1,200, which would be the lowest that other people are selling. I'll go 100 or two under, So this way people can see without taxes and with payment plans and flexibility, I'm willing to work with you that probably no one else on YouTube will do or could do. So you have to be realistic with your prices. Now that again, that doesn't mean deals can't happen because like I show, I bought a Fantastic Four Fantastic Four number 52, first Black Panther for $69, and it came out to like 72 and change after taxes. So deals are out there. But if you have a person selling that book for, and it came back a 3.5 grade, if somebody was selling that book saying it's about a 3.0 grade for, let's say, $400, and you said, I'll give you $70 for it, they'd laugh at you. But that doesn't mean they're not out there to find somebody that just lists it. Maybe they just want to get rid of it. Think about it. If you're an old woman or an old man that bought a house and you went into the attic for the first time and you saw a bunch of comics. Well, let's say you found one. You found the Fantastic Four Black Panther. And you said, you know nothing about it. You didn't want to take the time to research it or anything. And you said, you know what? I'm going to sell it on eBay for $70. That person just made $70 doing nothing. So to them, they may be thrilled. It's like the day before I had nothing. The day after I found a book and sold it for $70. Now I have $70 in my pocket. I could buy some gas and some groceries. So you never know why people sell. But you want to be realistic. So pretty much people were close to what I was willing to pay. The first one I paid probably about what people would pay, maybe a little bit more, because again, I just see the potential of this book for long term. And I may be 53 going on 54, but I'm not 80, on my deathbed, like certain people that are running the country. But I definitely paid a little bit lower than what most people would pick. And again, for some reason, they put the missing piece there. Now, obviously you wouldn't want to tape it, so I don't know what the purpose would that be. But obviously, that's why I say be careful when you get in your books. If you buy a graded book, or you get your book graded, and you keep trying for that 9.8, or you want to try for that 9.9 on the 10, which there are no guarantees. Something like that can happen. It could get damaged in the mail. It could get lost in the mail. I mean, look at, for example, what happened with Hudat and his X-Men #1. He went in person to CBCS and they gave the book to someone else. Now, luckily, thank goodness, he got his book eventually back. But you're talking, what, about a $10,000 to $12,000 book that he literally handed to them, and they ended up giving it to someone else. Now, whether somebody stole it or they accidentally gave it, hard to say. Darth Bleak, Restoration. I would not know. I don't think this would have restoration because, like I said, it's not like there was color touch there and they just tried to trim the top because the first couple of pages also got nicked. So what I really believe happened is because, like I said, inside the book with these two pieces of paper, I really think when they were going, because the inner lining tends to be a lot of times very close to the edges. So if you're not careful, he could have went like this, not paying attention, all of a sudden slid down a little bit. And seeing the nicks in a couple of the pages, like the next 3 pages, tells me that's most likely what happened. Because I've done restoration removal with my Batman 59 first Deadshot. It had some color touch along the bottom, so I literally, very carefully, just ripped it off. I didn't cut it, because when you cut a straight line, then they could say that's restoration too. They can consider it maybe trimming. So if I ripped it a little bit, it looks just like a natural tear, and it was no longer restored because I took off the part that somebody colored in with a magic marker. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of it. Now, it did lower the grade a zero.5 point, but it was no longer restored. I don't believe that's the case with this one. I honestly just really believe that the person was careless, whoever did it, and sliced it when they were trying to get it out of the inner well. So be very careful with, oh, well, I'm not happy with my 9.8 because it could be a 9.9. That's true, but it can also be a 9.6. It could also get damaged in the mail. You can also damage it yourself trying to remove it from the casing if you don't do it properly. Be very careful. Sometimes your need for the top amount of dollars and not being satisfied with what you have can end up backfiring on you. So if this was a 9.6 or a 9.8, it's not that anymore. I definitely sold it for a price probably under what they paid for it. And that book, again, is going to be going on the rise. As I look at the future of what's happening, and unless things change, you know, books like this are going to continue to go up. So Darth Bleak says, no, I mean, sometimes people will give the piece in a case the buyer was to possibly restore it. Oh, okay. Um, Again, I don't think that's the case because even if they restored that, I mean, the few couple of pages would still have rips in them. I mean, I don't know, especially in a modern book. I just don't realistically see somebody doing that. I mean, it's not impossible. Sometimes they say the simplest conclusion tends to be the most correct. So who knows? I'm not going to ask the seller. They may not even know. They might have bought it this way themselves. But yeah, for $250. So with tax, it came out to $267.50. I'm very comfortable with that price. Now, it's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to agree. Some people would have paid more. Some people would have paid less. I'll love to hear your opinion. So if you want to leave your opinion, by all means, that's what the comment section's for. I don't get a lot of comments, but I hope you'll take the time to do that once the video's uploaded. I'd love to hear what you think about my AI art. You can critique it positive, negative, whatever you want. But let's do today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. But once again, if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/we love comics. You get a shout out every single video. Once we get to 20 paid members, there are going to be giveaways that are given away every single month. As long as there's 20 or more paid members, the more there are, the better the prizes will be. That's my way of saying thank you for joining. So today's surprise subscriber shout outs, I have to give one to Happy Sanjo because, again, I've never seen him before and he just found my channel recently. And there was another person, um, Barbecue with Neil. So I haven't seen those names here before. So I'm going to give you both today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. What that means is if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a social media network, or if you have a eBay store or Amazon store, you could post a link to any of those. I'll let you decide which one you prefer in the comment section, and I will help hopefully get you some subscribers, maybe somebody to purchase your product, or maybe join your um, Facebook page, Instagram page, etc., etc. Now, I will not promote adult content. I will not promote things like prank channels, but it doesn't have to be comic book related. But that's going to probably be the best here. Any link will go automatically into spam. That keeps spammers and trolls from trying to put inappropriate links on my channel. I verify every link before I approve it. So if you are browsing the comments section, and I hope you do, I'd love to see more people interacting with each other, especially people that take the time to leave comments. They would love it if somebody responded to them, I guarantee you. If you see a link, that means it's been approved and it's not going to take you anywhere inappropriate. Now, again, what I always tell people is don't just post a link. Introduce yourself. Tell people if they click on the link where it's going to go. Show them you're grateful to anybody that at least visits or maybe follows you. Maybe you say, if you click on this link and go to my eBay store, I'll give you a free comic book with your order. Just mention that you went to We Love Comics. The more you use your imagination and the more effort you put in, the more you're going to get back. If you do the bare minimum, don't be surprised that's all you get. So shout out to our shout outs. Thank you so much for watching. Old School MTGJM says, I think books get, I can't read it because there's a heart thing right in the way. Get cut a lot due to people not knowing how to open it. Absolutely. Either the person didn't know what they were doing, they were in a rush, or they just were not very careful. I mean, they could have been placing it on not just on a regular table. It could have been wobbly. Who knows? We'll probably never know. But obviously, that's my conclusion of what happened. Somebody did it for whatever reason. It could be they wanted a higher grade. They wanted to try and get the most out of their money. They might not have been happy with a 9.4 or a 9.6, or they had a 9.8 and they were trying to get the new 9.9, 10 grade 10.0 grades and ended up ultimately screwing themselves. Now, if you're in a relationship, screwing yourself is never a good thing. That's why you have a partner. Thanks for watching. give a shout out to our shout out, and join my Patreon. We're only 8 people away from starting the contest. And again, you can do the minimum to join, which is only $2 per month. And then once we get to 20, we got the different things that we're giving away, and one entry for every $2 you apply to your Patreon account. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hopefully, I'll get one of these trades going. If you have any of these books and know anybody that has any of these books and would like to do a trade with me, watch the video I did about a week or two ago of all the comics that I'm willing to trade to get any or all of these books. Anything on my shelf, including my Star Wars action figures and things like that, can be available for a trade if it's something that can make or break a deal. So contact me. The worst I can do is say that particular item is not available for trade. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate all the people in the live chat, all the people that are watching later on. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.